Hi and welcome to VerityHearts. It's Vera. I love a shortcut, don't you? Imagine a magic pill that you take it one night and in the morning you wake up and all that excess weight is gone. Or that one exercise that you can do just once and it'll magically burn the fat away from that one part of your body that has been bugging you. How about a lovely lottery win to pay off all those debts? Something that can happen like that to transform your life. Well, there is a shortcut that you can take that can make some pretty big transformational changes to the way you are experiencing your life right now. It's a practice. It's something you've got to apply. You've got to be actively doing it. And you've got to make a decision to do it and do it every day. And it's really easy and it's really transformative. So what's that practice? Well, it's a practice that every guru pretty much teaches, every coach worth their salt teaches. It's a practice that's embedded in pretty much every religious tradition. So it's something that is well known and it's well known to work, but it's something that so many people don't do. So what's that one thing? It's a gratitude practice. And it makes a big difference. But, people push back. When you say to someone, particularly if they're going through a difficult time, start a gratitude practice. When you see someone who's really struggling in life, they're depressed, they're angry, they're frustrated, they're lost, they're overwhelmed, and you say to them, start a gratitude practice. You get thrown back at you. How can I be grateful for the fact I'm going through a divorce? How can I be grateful for the fact I've lost a loved one? How can I be grateful for my health being so bad? How can I be grateful for all the debts I've got in my life? I'm not talking about being grateful for that. When we talk about a gratitude practice, we're talking about finding things to be grateful for whilst we're in that difficult situation. Practicing gratitude is easy when life's going great. But when there are things that we're experiencing in life that aren't great or absolutely devastating, it is difficult to start a gratitude practice. But I tell you what, it does pay off. I started my gratitude practice more than 20 years ago when I was going through an extremely difficult divorce. It was terrible. I've written about it in my book. I've probably mentioned it in posts on this site as well. Dreadful, dreadful experience. And I got to the point where, I was looking for anything that would help me get through this experience. And just like I'm speaking to you now, there was someone that said this to me, start a practice of gratitude. So every night I would journal. I would sit down and write 3 to 5 things that I was grateful for in that day. Because going through that experience was so all-encompassing, so overwhelming, I had to force myself to do this. And this is why I say it is a decision and it's an active practice that you've got to do. Because I had to sit there, despite tears rolling down my face at the end of the night, and think about my day and find something I was grateful for. What was something good that happened? And it could be something simple. I went for a walk on a sunny day. I felt the warm sun on my face. I had a cuddle with my cat. Little things like that, but I would write them down. Because what the practice of gratitude does is whilst you're focusing on that one little thing, even if it's just for a moment, the moment that you're writing it down, whilst you're doing that, it takes you out of that emotional overwhelm, depression, anger, frustration, whatever it is that you're experiencing because of the other thing that's going on in your life. For that moment, it just takes you out, gives you a moment to breathe. And when you have a few moments, that gives you more moments out of that space. And as you do this practice day after day, or night after night, because it's the other thing, when you do it at night, it's the energy that you're putting into your body at night. So as you're doing it, you have more and more of those moments, and suddenly you're realizing that that the good things in your life are pushing out the space, pushing out that negative stuff that you've been experiencing. Now, it doesn't mean those negative things or those circumstances go away. They don't, but they give you that breathing space, that breakaway. So you can start looking at your life in a much broader context. So you can look at those circumstances in a much broader context, and you start to see the good that's in your life. And when you do that, your experience of life becomes very, very different. So if you haven't been doing a practice of gratitude all this year, just do it now. Now, instead of a journal now, because I started this more than 20 years ago, and to this day, I still have my gratitude practice. And rather than a journal, not that there's anything wrong with a journal, check out this baby. So I had an old jar and I decorated it, made it pretty. I have it sitting by my bed, and every night I write a note of the things that I was grateful for the day. And what I do at the end of the year is I pour out all those notes and I pick through them and I read through them, and I reflect on the year of how wonderful it was for me. So if you haven't been doing this every day, that you haven't been writing down doing a gratitude practice, I challenge you to start doing that in these last few weeks of this year, and reflecting back on the year and finding things that you are grateful for. Now, given the things that we've been going through with the lockdowns and all the negative news around COVID and dealing with issues, many of us have experienced really challenging events through the year. What we've also experienced are wonderful things. And rather than carrying the energy of sadness, depression, anger, frustration, whatever it is, rather than carrying that into the new year, take time to reflect back and write down the things that were terrific through the year. Some of the people you had in your life, some of the events that you experienced, the things you learned about yourself, the things that you got to do this year that you couldn't do every other year because you were too busy. Write them down and take stock of that. Read through those things at the end of the year and take that energy with you into the new year. Because that practice of gratitude, it's that one simple thing that you can start doing right now that will make such a tremendous, a profound impact to the way you are experiencing your life. And I'll catch you next time.